The Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds podcast is hosted by Josh Guin. In this podcast, he discusses the background and purpose of his project, which is to create a comprehensive horse trail directory for the state of Tennessee. He highlights the need for such a resource and the challenges he encounters while riding trails and staying at campgrounds. He shares his experiences and perspectives as he explores various locations and discovers historical treasures. In the podcast, he explains the features of his website, tnhorsetrails.com, including videos, a blog, and a map function. This podcast aims to provide valuable information and to promote local businesses. Thank you for tuning in to the Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds podcast. Here's your host, Josh Guin.
Hey, welcome to the Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds podcast. I'm your host, Josh Guin, and I have in the booth with me today my wife, Gillian. Welcome to the show, Gillian.
Thank you so much.
Glad to have her here. She's been on this trip with me for so long. For 2 years now, we've been doing this project together. And I want to start this first show just by talking a little bit about the reason why we came up with our own horse trail directory for the state of Tennessee. It started with a bucket list that my family and I had about 2 years ago. We wanted to ride every trail in the state of Tennessee, stay at every campground. And we found that through our travels that we just kind of ran into a lot of problems along the way. There were times that our trailer didn't fit around a turn, or there was a tree limb hanging out too far for our air conditioner unit. Maybe we didn't have the right hookups for that campground. There was always seemingly some kind of disastrous issue every time we went on a trail. And so we started looking for resources on this subject, especially for the state of Tennessee, on riding these different places. And we really couldn't find anything in the state. So we started videoing some of our experience and put it on YouTube. It got pretty popular there. And then from there, we just started a trail directory. So we have a website now. It's called tnhorsetrails.com, and it's specifically for you Tennessee trail riders that are riding across the state or even in your local area. You know, we've ridden all over the place and had such a great time over this last 2 years. We still have a little bit to go. I think we have 6 more places to feature in our project, but it's been quite a journey so far, hasn't it?
It's been so fun.
It's been fun because we've taken all of our kids with us. We have 4 kids ranging from 15 to 6 years old, and it's been really neat to be able to see these places not only through the eyes of a trail rider, but also through the eyes of a child, and just to see what's out there for family. So a lot of you take your family, and I think that these features, these videos will show you a lot about what not only works for you as a trail rider, but you know what they can do on those weekends or week-long trips that you take. So anyway, we started the website, and we got through most of these features through the website, and then we got to thinking, well, you know, with our website, it has videos that you can actually see what you're going to be doing whenever you commit to go in there. You can see a full list of everything that you need to know about the place, full descriptions, even what you need to bring along with you for that particular location. So we got most of that done. We're still working on it, especially coming into springtime. We're going to be hitting the trails even more to finish this project up. And then from there, we're going to go back and re-review some of these places that maybe have changed hands in the process of that 2-year time span. But along with that, we wanted to go another step for you guys and add something else to it. And I feel like a podcast is that next level of information that you guys really need. So we're going to be starting the series of TN Horse Trails podcast, where we're going to be interviewing the managers and the business owners and park rangers, park managers of all of these trails across the state and all these campgrounds. This will give you that inside scoop of what you need to know, maybe what's changed since we did the video, what's going on in events, and maybe just different special occasions that they're going to be having this year. So I think it's going to be beneficial for you. We've also added on our brand new website, we've added a blog. It's a blog that I've been writing through this whole journey. of some of the different places that have really impressed me. And this is more of a personal perspective of what I think about the places. It's not quite as what would be the word, basic information of what we have in the videos. This is more of my personal opinion of each place, and I think that that has um, some validity to it, just to get somebody else's opinion.
Your
That
perspective, not from an official standpoint, but
Yeah,
just your thoughts and
yeah,
feelings.
just our experience as we were out there riding and having fun. So usually the way that these trips go is we go out. I usually have 1 to 2 horses. We have a family of 6. So myself and one of the kids or Gillian will go out and we'll ride together. But then the others are at camp, or maybe they go around and have fun around the area. And this is where Gillian's perspective comes in, because a lot of times she's back at camp with the kids while I'm out videoing trails. And from your perspective, what are you thinking? What's the experience that you've had going through all these different places?
Well, I've been grateful for the experience because there are a lot of places that I wouldn't have otherwise checked out.
Mm.
So we would end up in a place that might be forgotten by the world. It might have been an area that was once thriving, but now was kind of on the way out. But there were so many historical treasures to find. And it's not something that had a big draw to the area, maybe other than the horse trail. But when we ended up there and we went to look for some fun, we ran across some really great stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it was geographical. We got to see some really neat caves and it just neat stuff like that. And sometimes it was visiting the old towns and finding the hole in the wall places to eat, or the flea market that was going on. And so we got to see parts of
Yeah.
Tennessee that I otherwise wouldn't have gotten to see. It was great. The kids really, I think, built some memories that'll last a lifetime because of doing the trails and pushing ourselves to do all of the different parts of Tennessee.
Right. One of my favorite places that we went as a family, I think, was Wrangler's Campground at LBL, Land Between the Lakes. And this is right across the Tennessee border in Kentucky. This would be northwest Tennessee area, very kind of corner of it. And the reason I like that place is, I'm a big history buff. I love seeing history as a ride. You'll see it in a lot of my videos that I feature the history of the places. But LBL has so much rich history there that the family can jump in the truck and just take off and go have fun. Of course, it's a huge place, but it has all of these other things too, like the Great Western Furnace. That was a really big deal for us because that furnace was built hundreds of years ago. So it was one of those kind of things where that's where they built metal. That's where they produced iron out of the iron ore in the property. So you had all this slag rock everywhere, and it was this beautiful blue rock, and it was just remnants of the process of making iron. So that was a really cool place. We actually went out to the Smoky Mountains the weekend before last and got to video some of those campgrounds out there. And of course, there's so much history of the mountain people, the Appalachian people there in the Smokies. And we got to visit an old farmstead that still had the house standing, and an old school. There was an old church still standing there in those valleys. And
And an old cemetery way up on top of a
yeah,
hill.
yeah,
We were breathless by the time we got there, but it was worth the walk. The
yeah,
view was amazing.
breathless for 2 reasons. It was a beautiful place, but I mean, we were exhausted. It was straight up the mountain for I don't know how long, and it was only a footpath. You can't take your horse there, but the point is that there are so many things you can do at these places other than just ride your horse down the trail. And of course, that's the reason we're going. But what happens on those weekends that you get there and you have 5 hours of ride time, then it starts raining. It rains for 2 days. You can pack up and leave, or you can still have an adventure. And we try to include those kinds of things in our videos. So we've got a lot of that information on there. We're going to be talking to the managers of these places, the park rangers, to tell us more about what that local history is, as well as maybe what some of the changes are in the rules of the trails, or maybe they've done some additions, maybe they've worked on the trails. We'll be talking about some of that information. So we have this whole series of podcasts coming up, and this is our first one. This is our first time ever doing a podcast. We're on the computer for the first time doing this. So I can't wait to see what the turnout is with our guest. We're going to be interviewing our guest remotely, so they'll be at their location. We've already done some tests on this, And, I'm just excited about what it's going to turn out to be, especially trying to join the owners and the managers of these places with you guys so that you kind of feel like you already know them, you know their personalities and characters before you ever decide to go to that location.
That's been one of the things that I also enjoyed was the community, which in the horse industry is always one of the treasures. You show up, especially when you're going to these campgrounds, and you feel an instant camaraderie with the other people because you have this great thing in common. And so many of the places, the campground owners or the managers, they just would pull a chair up to the fire with you. And I really enjoyed that. And I want you to get to know who these people are. So when you step in, you feel like you're stepping into a relationship you've already built.
Yeah, great example of that situation is we went to Laurel Hill Horse Camp, and this is kind of a Middle Tennessee area. And Robert, the owner of the place, when we pulled up, he pulled up with his four wheeler. He was doing some work around the campground, and next thing I know, he took all of our kids, piled them on the four wheeler, and took them for a ride. So you have these relationships that you build, and I think we've built relationships along the way that will last the rest of our lives with these people. Matter of fact, I speak to them almost on a monthly basis. So just to check on them and see how their business is going. You know, Whenever we talk about the purpose of why we're doing this thing, one is of course to get information to you trail riders, and then the other is to promote these local businesses. All too often we see horse campgrounds and horse trails that are owned by the state or the federal government go under because they're not being utilized. And so our goal is to promote those places and make sure that they're successful so that our future generations have that available to them. It's important for me, for my kids to have that opportunity. I know for so many of you, it's a generational thing that you guys ride horses, and so we want to preserve those things. We're not going to have a real long show today. We just want to do a little intro with you guys, just to tell you what we're doing, to tell you the reasons why. And I think you're going to really love this. We're going to have this podcast on all major platforms. It's also going to be on our website at tnhorsetrails.com. And we just revamped that website. It's brand new now. It does have a map function where you can see all the way across the state. You can see Meme and Shelby Forest in West Tennessee, or Shelby Farms in Memphis, all the way to Middle Tennessee, where you have day rides like Yanali and Williamsport Lakes, or you have Circle E Guest Ranch in the southern part, and then of course East Tennessee going into the Smoky Mountains. And then we also feature trails and campgrounds that are right along the outside of the Tennessee border. So a good example of that is in Alabama. And then, what's one in Alabama that would
Seven
go?
Springs.
Seven Springs. Yeah, Seven Springs. And what a wonderful place. We had such a good time down there. If you ever get a chance, go during the Frontier Days. They have that annually. It's such a good time. And then north, of course, we just talked about LBL, Wrangler's Campground. So that's actually in Kentucky. There are some others in Kentucky that we feature as well. So all of those things you can see on the map portion of the website, but then you can also search. So if you're in a certain place, you could just type in your city and it will show you what's closest to you. It will take you straight to that page, give you the full list of information that you need. It'll show you the video that's associated to it. And of course, at the top of the page, we'll have the blog that we write and also the podcast. So there are a few things that we would like for you to do as well for us. This has been a passion project of ours. We don't make any money off of it. It's something that we've spent tens of thousands doing so far, doing all these trips. It's been fun. We wanted to do it anyway, but we've taken a lot of time to build this system for you guys to be successful and to have fun. And we would love for you to be able to just go and support us in a way that's just going to bring more traffic to our website. It is specifically for you Tennesseans. So there are some others out there, other horse trail directories out there, but you're never going to see another one that does what we do. We go and we get our boots on the ground and we check it out. And we make sure that you see the pictures. Pictures worth 1,000 words. So it's not just personal opinion. It's going to be the facts of the places. So we would love for you to join us on our YouTube channel. It's Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds. All of our videos are posted on there. We also have some extras on there, some bloopers reels, and just me just talking while I'm riding. You never can tell what's going to be on there. I think I have one video of a place I was riding where the biting flies were so bad I had my jacket over my horse's head so she could not worry about those so much. They were eating her ears up.
We need to add some Pioneer cooking videos to that channel.
We could do that because Gillian does that at camp. So we need to do that for sure. And she does have some videos of her talking about the campground and what it means to her as a mother and somebody that's really spending most of her time at the campground. So YouTube, go on there, Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds. We have the website, of course, tnhorsetrails.com. We also have a Facebook group page called Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds. And I think we just opened that page not too long ago. We're already up to 6,000 members. So that happened really fast. That's a really great point of contact between myself and Gillian and you guys. So if you have a question about a place, you can always chime in on the group page and ask a question. Of course, there's going to be a lot of other people that ride those trails too, and they'll be happy to answer your question. So, Gillian, did you have anything else to add?
I just want to thank you for putting this together.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I'm really proud of you. So you started with something, you saw a need, and then you met the need, and you didn't just meet it for you, but you met it for our entire horse community, which is what I've always really seen you to be about, is bringing a community together and helping to equip them to have the best time with horses and the safest time with horses that they can. So just on behalf of everyone, I want to say you've done a great job.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you've been in on that too. Give yourself some credit there, pat on the back. So, we have really enjoyed this. I do want to make mention of our little friend here. His name is Reggie, and for the kids watching these videos, or adults as well, I've had some reports of adults do it as well. He is hidden in a lot of our videos, not all of them, but you will find him hiding somewhere in the videos. This started as a family thing where we had hide the toy and they'd have to find it, and then we'd have to find it with us and the kids. So little Reggie is in those videos. I actually had a guy come up to me at the Southern Equine Expo at our booth, and he said, "Hey, there's the monkey man." And I had no idea what that guy was talking about, but he was talking about Reggie. And he said that every video he watches for Reggie, and he tries to find him in there. So, guys, we're gonna finish up here, but I want to tell you about our second show that we're going to be doing. It's with Christine Mortensen at Circle E Guest Ranch in Belvedere, Tennessee. This is in Middle Tennessee, southern Middle Tennessee. And we have been going there for so many years, well over a decade, and taking large groups, going as a family, and it's just such an amazing place. So we're going to be talking to Christine about all of the history of the place, how it got started, where it's going. She's the manager, so she has the inside scoop of everything that's going on. We're going to talk about those trails. We're going to talk about, if you're a Tennessee trail rider, we're going to be talking about those ATVs as well, because I know that's on your mind. So we're going to have a great conversation with her. It's going to be fun. Christine's been a friend of ours for so long, and I'll leave you a teaser here. We're gonna tell you about a video in the next. I see Gillian in the next show with Christine that Gillian and I were the stars of years ago. That was back before our acting careers took off, but we were in that video. Christine is also a singer-songwriter and does a wonderful job, has some really cool horse songs. So we're going to be talking to her next time, and it's going to be a good show. Can't wait to show you. You guys stay tuned. Like I said, we're going to have it on all major platforms, and we will be updating when these shows are coming out on our Facebook group page, Tennessee Horse Trails and Campgrounds. Thank you much. Thank you so much for stopping by. Gillian, you have anything else to say?
No.
All right. Well, we're done, guys. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.